time, so we'll get started. I'm Harsha Rajasimha, and I'm the founder and chairman of IndoUS Organization for Rare Diseases. Give an overview of what we do at IndoUS Organization for Rare Diseases. We exist to advocate for persons with rare disease in India, those in diaspora from India in the United States, and everywhere else. And as a 501c3 nonprofit organization headquartered here in Northern Virginia, our mission is to accelerate affordable treatments for rare diseases by catalyzing cross-border collaborations in particular between United States and India, as well as the rest of the world. Fundamentally, we are trying to address the severe underrepresentation of Indian diaspora in clinical research, particularly in rare diseases. If you look at the why IndoUSrare, you see this global map of all rare disease clinical trials currently underway, about 550 trials. They are distributed roughly about 40 to 50% in the United States, marked in red, and most of the Asia is in green, and in India, there is probably a handful of clinical trials that are going on in rare disease right now. And that's the significant divide that we are looking to address. Just a very timely article that just came out last week, giving a lot more data and perspective on how underrepresented India and Indian diaspora is in international orphan drug clinical trials. So happy to share this trial. Some of our collaborators have been authors on this article that just got published. So we summarized our why, and this is still a work in progress. So this is where we will be focusing in looking at how advanced US is in some areas and how advanced India is in some areas, but the divide is huge between the two. Particularly, if you look at the number of patient advocacy organizations, which are really the movers and shakers when it comes to rare disease, they are really the parents and families are driving orphan drug development and early research, especially. And there are 4,000 or so such nonprofit organizations that we know are members in, Global Genes or NORD and other organizations. Whereas in India, that number is a couple orders of magnitude small yet. So we need more of that to occur, as well as number of rare disease trials like we just saw in the previous slide. Cell and gene therapies are probably very promising. We just saw the approval of the Bluebird biotherapy yesterday. We need more of those, but in India, there is hardly any going on or coming from India yet. However, the orphan drug policy, which has existed since 1983 and several amendments thereafter, we still do not have an orphan drug policy in India. But we do have a national policy for rare disease, which is we don't have a national policy like that in the US, but we do have that in India. And the exciting part is the Indian government has now allocated a budget of 5 million Indian rupees for every patient affected by any of the rare diseases. That's really the biggest change that I want to drive home today is this change driver to advance orphan drug launches in India and engaging India early R&D for clinical trials as well. So our mission at IndoUSrare, hence, is to connect rare disease patients in India with those in US or vice versa, collaborate, build cross-border collaborations between various stakeholders in US and India, arrange annual conferences and other networking opportunities so stakeholders can connect with each other. We have seen in the last year that even stakeholders within India may not be fully aware of the capabilities that exist within the region, let alone in the other region. So we know that there is a huge need for that. And ultimately advocate for all patients with rare diseases as by engaging more of the Indian diaspora, we believe we can advance our understanding of rare genetic diseases, where India has a lot of consanguinity and many different haplotypes and other aspects of Indian diaspora genetics that makes it can help advance the R&D for rare diseases for all patients, not just for Indian patients. And all our programs are designed to strengthen and align with these 5 pillars of our mission. Our key programs centered around a patient starts with our patient concierge, which is a technology-enabled platform for patients to contact us with any requests they have for any disease, diagnosed or undiagnosed. And then our corporate alliance program, we are going to talk about more today. Research programs that are funded by grants and donations, as well as collaborations. Education, outreach, and awareness programs with various partners, key partner being Global Genes. We just have the financial advocacy in rare disease grant to do that, and many, many more, as well as policy advocacy, both in the United States and in India, from a US Congress point of view, but also Indian government level. And of course, the Patient Foundation Alliance, which now has 30 member organizations. So this is the overview of our technology-enabled patient concierge, which is an entry point for all individual patients. In less than a year of our existence, we have received about 89 participant requests, roughly, and with various types of requests, whether for information, connection to a clinical trial, connection with other patient groups, or access to treatment, access to an expert opinion or a second opinion as they go from doctor to doctor and specialist to specialist. So various types of requests. And so because we have this technology platform, we are able to track the metrics and improve our program on a continuous basis. And now we are starting to scale this program. The Patient Foundation Alliance membership program has now attracted more than 30 members, and it's growing. Majority of them tend to be in the United States just because it's a couple orders of magnitude larger number of foundations in US compared to India. But we have about 8 to 10 member organizations from India as well. So that cross connections is where we have already seen some success between cured VCP disease and GNE myopathy groups between US and India, and the motor neuron disease group, etc. So there are already a lot of metrics that we are seeing here. We are fortunate to have received grants and donations and support from various organizations, both nonprofit and industry, to advance research and education programs. So our research programs are led by Dr. Reena Karta, who is also on the call. She's a faculty member at the University of Minnesota Center for Orphan Drug Research there. So we're very fortunate to have her guidance on all our research programs. These are some of our major publications. These are all hyperlinked, so we'll share the PDF so you can access those articles as well. But already, we tend to be a bit scientifically driven and publish our findings on a regular basis. And we have a couple manuscripts in review or in preparation right now to address some of these major gaps in terms of prevalence and incidence of rare disease. Numerous education and awareness programs. We have almost at least on a quarterly basis, one educational webinar and panel discussion that is hosted by Reena as well as Nisha supporting that program. And various public awareness, walk, run events. We are about to, we are in preparation for a Save-a-thon event happening in the Silicon Valley, an awareness program, Road for Rare there. In terms of awareness and education, we conducted our inaugural annual conference in November last year. Was well attended, and it was a 4-day conference. Each day focused on advocacy, research, patient education, support, and industry. And numerous other conference speaking engagements and panel discussions on a, mostly in US, but also on a global scale. The Rare Disease Day is something we celebrate each year, and a snapshot here from 2021 and 2022. We tend to have speakers from both US and India to drive home both the commonalities and the striking differences in where their opportunities might be for collaborations between patient experience and researcher experience in US versus India, and what we can learn from each other and how we can collaborate better. So again, addressing massive health inequities in rare diseases is where we are focused on, and that requires advocacy on the US Capitol Hill. And for last 3 years in a row, we have been participating with the Every Life Foundation in collaborating to meet the senators and congressmen during the Rare Disease Legislative Advocates Week, last week of February usually, and educate and inform, especially the Indian diaspora, which is about 4.2 million people in the US, their needs and unmet needs in rare diseases in particular. And we have submitted various comments to US FDA in their call for public inputs recently, including for a global clinical trial network, as well as inclusion of race and ethnicity in their demographics to include Asian Indian descent and several others. The most recent being supporting for the ALICE Act for hearing the aid devices, covering the cost of that through private insurance. In India, we are fortunate to have Dr. Bhaskar, who is an expert and deeply involved in the policy advocacy there. He will be presenting in a few minutes on the work we do there, as well as the public comments when the Indian government also has been seeking for developing evidence-based policies, a move away from wisdom-based policies that India has been sticking with over the last many decades. Currently, we supported a Department of Science and Technology supported call for proposals for manufacturing off-patent orphan drugs in India in collaboration with an academic and industry partner in India. So coming to today's focus on the Corporate Alliance Program, the key objectives is to really make sure the industry is informed about the latest and greatest changes, as a lot of things are happening both in India and in US, to make sure industry is informed on the latest, to engage and align and maximize patient impact, which is our common mission, as well as it will help sustain the programs that we just presented. The membership itself has tiers in terms of biopharmaceutical and medical device sponsors in preclinical stage to clinical and commercial stage, as well as service providers that could be in the life sciences industry, like a CRO or a clinical technology platform, but also companies that may be in the other sectors that may have a corporate social responsibility to help people with rare disease. So we invite all industry stakeholders to engage and participate actively in this Corporate Alliance Program. The benefits include a seat on our Corporate Alliance itself on these quarterly meetings, but also offline engagements, acknowledgement on our website and social channels, as well as newsletter, member spotlight, and preferred access to our events that may happen throughout the year. We have something going on every month throughout the year. I welcome the founding members to this call and to the ongoing engagement. We are backed by a very strong board of directors, which I'm really thankful and fortunate for. And you can see on the screen here our board of directors and a very strong management team backed by Dr. Nisha Venugopal and Ramya. We have engaged a PR firm in the US, Johto PR, and Dean Infotech managing our digital outreach. Particularly during the pandemic, we had to rely solely on virtual engagement with all stakeholders, and these have been very valuable resources for us. And the advisory board with eminent leaders in the orphan drug space and rare diseases, helping us through various aspects of engaging with the corporate alliance, the medical doctor fraternity, as well as the advocacy side. We track our metrics and impact, and this is a dashboard of some of the key metrics that we are tracking, and really welcome you to engage and engage with us if you have not already, and happy to provide any additional information. But we collaborate with numerous nonprofits as well as industry collaborators.